Hello and welcome to another edition of the Aces Loaded podcast. It's great to have you with us. Hope you're sauntering into September. My name is Zack. So glad to be with you as always. I'm joined this week by Aces General Manager Emily Jaenson, and we're going to go over a few topics here to start. Emily, how you doing?
Hi, great to be here. I'm good. Thanks, Zack.
Of course. Thanks for being here. It's been a great baseball season, hasn't it? Just reflecting back on all the great moments we've had in 2020. And it's really hard to believe that this would have been coming down the home stretch, Emily, like the last week of the 2020 season. I'll never forget my first season in the PCL. You guys have been so great to me. But it always goes fast for me. The season does. And I feel like I have a new perspective on just how fast April to September flies, just having to be kind of here at home. What's your take on 2020 and the fact that this would be the end of baseball season?
Yeah, I mean, time has been very weird this summer, to say the least. It's not the way that I'm used to marking time or passing time over a summer. So yeah, I mean, I can't believe it's September, first of all, and then that we've been in this for going on 6 months. It's been an unprecedented year, is in the most limiting of terms. There's a lot more adjectives to describe that, and I can't help but feel a little bit sad for what we lost this year. I gotta say, I don't think it's a stretch to say that I definitely mourned the loss of the 2020 Reno Aces season.
Yeah, that makes two of us. I was really looking forward to being up there and to getting into it with you guys back in. I mean, I think back to March and looking at places in Reno, and my wife and I had gone up there and we'd hiked the Truckee River, and we're looking forward to 2020 and all the adventures. And then a couple weeks later, everything just kind of changed. What will you remember about this year when you reflect back? I mean, it might even have to do with the professional experience that you had with having to help an organization through one of the most trying times that baseball really has ever seen. Have you identified areas where you've grown as an executive, where you've overcome obstacles and challenges and helped the team to do so?
Yeah, it's been a challenging year, probably one of the most challenging of my entire life. It's definitely my career. And yeah, absolutely. I think the leadership qualities that I possess, I've had more time to work on as well and be more thoughtful about, because we're not in what sometimes is an intentional frenzy, to get to the next baseball game. Mm-hmm. And what I learned is that sometimes we've got to take a step back and be happy about that. I would never want to redo this year again. However, I'm grateful for the time that we've had to work on different projects for the long-term health of the business. And I think those projects are going to serve us in the long run. And so I'm very happy that we had the time to do those. And I think we were as intentional with this time as we could be. And we're looking forward to more of that, through the end of the year.
What is the long-term health of the business? And I ask this knowing that for the Aces, it's probably positive, but for a lot of teams around minor league baseball, it's a different story. And I can't help but jump from team to team and just kind of examine what their situation might be moving forward with a lot of uncertainty in the industry. What can you speak to about that, the long-term health of the Aces?
Yeah, I can't speak for the other teams. I know a lot about what's going on based on different conversations, and I'm really happy to lead an organization like the Aces that has such steady footing. And what I mean by that is we have a tremendous facility that is regarded as one of the best in minor league baseball. We are a AAA market and team through and through. We've got a great staff here, and we have tremendous ownership. We are so fortunate to have the owners that we do, who have a sustainable business savvy and sustainable finances to help us move through this year and into the future. and we're going to be just fine. We can't wait to open up again, certainly, and debut some of the projects that we worked on in 2019, the netting, the lights. We've got lots of cool changes that we were ready to implement in 2020 that we're looking forward to doing in the future. But that doesn't stop. We have this facility that needs TLC 24/7, and we've been fortunate to weather this storm so far and continue to contribute to making this the best place possible to watch a AAA game in the future, and also to play AAA baseball and prepare those players for the next level.
Thanks for the affirmation, and I had a feeling the Aces would be just fine moving forward, but I think it's important for people like yourself to actually say that and to affirm that to the community. And a lot of communities aren't going to be so fortunate, so I'm glad that we're in that boat. I kind of want to round the corner here and talk about something a little more fun. Aceball Ale from Hop Valley. This is something that, being new to the organization, I saw put out there on social. Of course, I couldn't get up to Reno in April because we were all quarantined, but I saw, Eric posting things about where you can get Aceball Ale, and I'm like, man, that looks really good. A few weeks back, I had to drive up to Reno to get some equipment to do 1868 games, to broadcast those games, and I stopped at O'Reilly's and I picked up some Aceball Ale, and it was so good. I mean, I was excited to drink it to support the team. The actual beer was so good. Can you tell me a little bit about how this came to be and how this branding and this partnership kind of got started with Hop Valley in Eugene, Oregon?
Of course. First of all, what do you mean you saw Eric posting? What about me posting? What about the Aces posting?
if I'm being honest, the first tweet that I saw was Eric's, and subsequently I saw you tweet and the Aces, but the first one I saw was Eric. So I just give him the credit.
Okay.
I want to hide it properly.
All right, I'll give you a break there.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Aceball Ale, personally, for me, it was a dream come true. I have wanted to create a beer. Seems like a bizarre dream, but
no, it doesn't.
I've had it for a very long time. And the next best thing to owning my own brewery was having an opportunity to create a brand. And so we're so lucky here to have a tremendous partnership with New West Distributing. They've been our distributor since day one at this ballpark. And that is a partner in a relationship that I really value for the Aces organization. And I had, year after year, just kept poking at this idea of, could we create our own brand? And it came down to having the right partner. And Hop Valley was that partner. Hop Valley is distributed locally by New West, and they've really invested in this market and in their brand. And I got the chance in early 2018 to sit down at the table, the conference room table here, with one of the owners of Hop Valley, Walter, and the New West team, and sample some beer. I know, rough day at the office.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible day. So we got the chance to taste all these beers and start to narrow in on what we wanted in the Aceball Ale. And what we wanted was an approachable beer with a great color, because color is important, especially if you get it poured in a clear cup. It's got to look like something that's easy drinking. And I wanted it to be a beer that you could have more than one. Baseball games sometimes are not so short, and you get thirsty. And if we went with a super strong IPA, I don't think our fans would have the best experience with that. So we decided to go for a crisp, refreshing, light blonde ale that has a really fantastic taste, but it's also a beer drinker's beer. And so that was step one, was choosing the liquid. And it was a really fun process. And I'm happy to let the listeners know that that beer has actually won some awards out at some different events because it is that good. The next step in the process was the branding. So year one, we had just on draft in the ballpark. So we made a really cool tap handle with the Aces primary logo at the top. The handle was a wood bat with the Aces logo. And we were able to get that beer distributed to about 70 different locations around town. So we started getting it out in the marketplace. People were enjoying it. People were buying it. And because we were able to get it on premise in that fashion, we were able to convince Hop Valley to run with the cans. When you can a beer, you have to make a certain, first of all, the government has to approve the design of the can. If you didn't,
the government has to approve the design of the can?
They do. There is a department for that in the U.S. government. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
So they have to approve, and then you have to run a certain quantity of cans. If any of you have ever seen a mason jar made by Ball, Ball also makes those cans. So there's a certain quantity that you have to create. And so we had to be confident that we could sell that volume of beer. So anyway, we get the buy-in from Hop Valley, and then it was on to the design. And I'm so excited about the design on the can. If you've had the privilege of drinking one, it's very true to our logo. It's also true to the Hop Valley brand with the hop, with the baseball stitching, the blue and the red. Just so cool from start to finish. And the price is right. 6-pack of 16-ounce cans for $7.99 at Rayleigh's. I mean, for a craft beer, award-winning, are you kidding me? So all the pieces fell into place. We were able to launch the beer this spring. Unfortunately, you know what happened in 2020 with the actual sport of baseball. However, we did distribute those cans all over Northern Nevada to Rayleigh's and Total Wine and also Lee's. And sold out. So it was fun to have that going when we didn't have our primary, baseball to focus on. We could at least do a little bit with the beer.
Yeah, well, you did that and more. There are a couple things here I want to touch on. First of all, the can is phenomenal, and I've gotten so many comments from people when I've shown them the can about how beautiful the design is. Secondly, I can attest you can absolutely drink more than one in a sitting. Done it a few times now. The third element is you pour it out, and it's a blonde ale, but there's so much body to it, and there's a lot of depth there that if you look at the color of the beer, and if you're a beer drinker, you might know, you look at a lighter beer and you're like, okay, that's going to be easy drinking, but there's so many more layers to Aceball Ale. And I can only imagine how proud you are of the taste of it, as well as the look and the brand of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's delicious. The branding is great, and it's sticking around. So, hopefully we'll be able to crack one together after a fantastic opening day in 2021. And
we're going to talk with Nasser Alimusa from Hop Valley here in a moment, but can you speak to how important branding like this is for a baseball team or any sports franchise to be able to have their own beer out there with their logo in places outside of the ballpark? I think it just gives an organization a real nice backbone in the community to get that brand out there in such a fashion. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're champions of the community. We exist because of the community so that they can come and make great memories and have great experiences at the ballpark. And not everybody drives by here every day, or they're moving into town and they might not be aware of the Reno Aces or who we are. And so it's important for us and our brand to show up in as many places as we can. And that's not always going to be on a billboard or on a TV commercial or in an interview. And so how can we get our logo out across the marketplace? And one place everybody goes is to the supermarket. And so having a large display of Aceball Ale with our logoing right when you walk in the doors at a great price, that's also what we tout in baseball. It's affordable family fun. And now we've got this affordable, fun beverage that you can enjoy when it's time to chill out and relax. So having that branding is super important to us in the grocery store, and then also on premise at restaurants and bars and all the places that you enjoy when you're not in a pandemic. around the community. And it's just a great opportunity for us to show up and to be a part of people making memories. When you're having a beer, sometimes it's signifying the end of the day at happy hour. Sometimes you're out with your buddies or your girlfriends at a bar, catching up, having a great experience. And because we have this liquid available, we get to be a part of that, even if you're not physically here at the ballpark.
Well, sometimes you crack a beer when you're on a Zoom call, and I'm going to crack a beer with Nasser coming up in the next segment. So I'm going to let you go, Emily. Thanks so much for the insight, and thanks again for, I'd say a great year, but you guys absolutely made the best of a terrible situation in 2020. So my hats are off to you and your team.
Thank you.
That's Emily Jaenson, Aces GM. We'll come back and hear from Nasser Alimusa. We'll talk more Aceball Ale next as the Aces Loaded podcast continues after this. We are back on the Aces Loaded podcast. Great as always to have you with us. And I told you at the beginning this is going to be a fun one today. We're going to talk with the folks over at Hop Valley Brewing Company, and in particular, we're going to talk to Nasser Alimusa, who's the regional sales manager for Hop Valley for Northern California and Northern Nevada. And Nasser, first of all, how you doing?
I'm great, Zach. How are you today, buddy? How you holding up in this heat?
I'm holding up. I'm in Northern California. We're in the middle of like a 110-degree week. Which brings me to this moment, and I wanted to just say hi to you, not to be rude, before I did this. For those of you watching, this is for your viewing pleasure. For those of you listening, wherever you get your podcast, be for your listening pleasure. But if you're watching, I'm showing you right now what's about to happen during this podcast. And if you're listening, here you go. I got one for you. Yeah. Look at that. Hold on. I gotta put my microphone down. And if you're watching, you're gonna get the visual on this. Hold on one second.
That's awesome. And for you guys who can't hear, he's pouring a magnificent beer right now. He's got good form, good quality, good coupling. He's doing a great job, Zach. Professional right there.
That's a pour right there.
That's a pour.
Cheers to everybody watching. Cheers to, everybody listening too. But if you're watching, you get to see the beautiful golden color on this Aceball Ale. Let's take a sip of it right here.
Cheers to you.
Oh, yeah. It's 2:11 in the afternoon where I am, in case you're wondering, but it is 5 o'clock somewhere. And by the way, so delicious. We're going to get into how this tastes and all the dynamics of it in a moment. But if you have not already gone to your local grocery store, if you're in Northern Nevada, to pick up some Aceball Ale from Hop Valley Brewing Company, which, by the way, has a phenomenal-looking can. It's got the Aces logo on the side of it, and it's got the Hop Valley logo with baseball stitching right down the middle, which works so well. But you got to go do that because, A, you're supporting the Aces and Hop Valley, a microbrewery, and B, you're not going to be disappointed with how it tastes. But Nasser, can you give me a little background on how this all came about, the genesis of this Aceball Ale?
Yeah, it's really a cool program. First of all, the beer is an amazing beer. It's an amazing blonde ale. It was actually a funny story. Excuse me. It's our first beer we've ever actually brewed at Hop Valley. It was our blonde ale, and it was completely by accident. We were trying to brew a Hefeweizen, and literally we messed up, and out came this perfect blonde ale that we just was like, oh my God, this is the best beer ever. And we ran with it. And then we brewed it for a while. It had a couple different names and variations. And then as progression happens, we kind of shelved it for a while to move on with newer beers. And we had this amazing beer in our lineup that we wanted to really find a home for and a really special purpose for. And then our partners here at New West Distributing, a great group of people, helped us partner with you guys at the Aces to create Aceball Ale. Last year was only draft available at the stadium only. And then this year, with some amazing marketing from both New West and from Hot Valley, we're able to create this amazing blue can that, I mean, you hold this in your hand, you're just kind of like, wow, this is kind of a cool thing to hold. We've all held beers in our hands, but this is a type of can you really want to look at and kind of spin the can and read everything that's going on in the can. But it's a great partnership, and it's amazing, amazing blonde ale. Easy drinking, especially in this heat right now.
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that it started as a Hefeweizen, and for me, now that you mentioned that, it's kind of a cross between a Hef and like a German blonde. You know, with the Hef, you get like that banana type taste to it, but you don't really get that taste in here. But you could tell that its origin is in Hef. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, it's got a little wheat in the profile. We have a little wheat in the mash bill, so it's kind of it'll add a little sweetness to it, but it's just so drinkable. I mean, when you have this beer in your hand, it says I'm sitting at a baseball stadium. I'm sitting there watching baseball. And with everything going on in the world right now, it's the best time to support your team at home games now is to sit there and drink this can. And everybody can have one. And like I said, it's patio beer. You want to sit outside, you want to enjoy the sunshine, and you want to drink one of these. It's too easy.
So the first time that I had one of these, I was actually in my backyard, which is like, I've told people this, it's become my oasis, my backyard during this time, because I like a kiddie pool back there, and it gets to be now 100 in the mid hundreds. So it's really you know, it's nice to be outside with a little pool and watering the garden and the trees. And when I brought this beer back, the first time I had it was in my backyard on a hot day, and I can't tell you A, how refreshing it was, and B, how delicious it was. And I was not expecting the depth of flavor in this. That it has. I was expecting something a little bit lighter, and then when that depth of flavor hits you, it's really something pretty cool.
It's definitely got a great body to it. It holds its own. It's kind of funny you say how that's your oasis. I'm the same thing. I've hijacked my kid's water slide, and and that's the personal playground for my wife and I. But no, it's kind of funny. The first 6-pack I got of this, that I actually got, I threw it in an ice chest and went and played around the golf. I didn't even get to drink one because all my buddies were sitting there hammering them down before I even got to one. So it took a little while for me to get one. But it does have a body to it where you just go, wow, there's great mouthfeel. There's great just all around feel to this beer where you just want to have another one right after it. Safely, that is.
Oh yeah. The naming and the creative process as far as this goes. Tell me how this kind of came about. I know you mentioned that it was a beer destined for something else, but the naming of it and the releasing of it, what was that process like?
So we have one of the best creative people at our brewery. Her name's Megan McKenna, and some of the stuff she does is amazing. I mean, we have a lot of projects going on right now, and I got to give her full credit. Kelly over here at New West, the whole team at New West, they really kind of put their brain together and says, hey, what can we do to create this vessel? But I got to throw my hat to Megan. She's the one who really came up with this. I mean, just the logoing, Emily over at the Aces, she's been amazing to work with. It really all came together with the colorways, the schemes. I mean, you guys have the best logo out there with that. I mean, I hope that's coming across pretty cool. And then with our baseball logo on the hop, it just fits. It's just, you can't beat it. But like I said, we're lucky enough that we have this really good creative team up at the brewery, and they were able to really just create this thing. I mean, it's unbelievable. We have some other projects around town that you'll see coming soon, and it's kind of a fun deal we're doing right now.
Nasser, can you touch on the synergy between baseball and beer, especially baseball and a beer like this? Because for those of us who are ballpark rats and live there most of the summer, it really does fit. But from your perspective, it's got to be kind of a cool thing to partner with a baseball team and have a beer like this to do it with.
So for me personally, one of the craziest things out there is I sell beer for a living. I get to do something that people dream of doing. It's a very event-oriented job. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard hours. You're never going to get mega rich doing this, but you're going to have a lot of fun. And some of the best experiences I've ever had were at the ballpark. We're at ballparks, being part of a beer family and just being around baseball. I'm sorry I live in the Bay Area. I know that's kind of the evil enemy over there with the Giants, but there's nothing like being at a baseball game on opening day. That energy right there. Even funnier story, I met my wife at the 2010 NLCS game.
Really?
And I met her at Momo's in San Francisco at a bar. Just because it's even funnier. I worked for a Coors House at the time, and she was sneaking in Bud Lights, and I had to yell at her, and that's how we ended up meeting. But the beer and baseball part about it is it's just there's something about sitting in, and I'm one of those people who likes to sit out in the bleachers and really enjoy the crowd and really enjoy the atmosphere. There's nothing better than, it's a hot day. You're wearing some shorts and flip flops. You got a hot dog and you got a beer, and you're just enjoying the environment. It's the atmosphere. It's so much fun. I just, if you're not a baseball fan, you got to go to a game one time and understand it. And even with what I like more about the minor league system is it's so much more condensed and so much more family orientated and friendly orientated, and just such an all around experience. And you never know who you're going to see. One day, he's playing here at the Aces, and next year he could be starting for the Diamondbacks as a starting pitcher. So it's really fun to watch, and it's just, why not enjoy a great beer while you're doing it?
Oh yeah. There was, I got my start working for the Stockton Ports, and I worked for the Ports, the A's high A team in Stockton for 14 years. And a few years back, I went to an A's game with two friends of mine. And whenever I go to an A's game, I mean, I know everybody there, and everybody wants to visit, and I'll go up into the press box and say hi to their broadcasters and whatnot. But this one time I was just with my friends, and I was like, I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm going. I just want to blend into the crowd and just enjoy. And have a couple beers. And of course, one of my friends put a picture on Facebook, and then I get a text from one of the A's broadcasters, and they're like, "You didn't come say hi?" And I'm like, dude, I didn't want to know that night. I just wanted to sit there and kind of melt into the ballpark scene, which I never get to do. I'm always there to work. But I'll tell you what, if you have this guy with you, this Aces Ale, you're living right.
It's amazing. It's all I can say is, and the best thing also about the Aces is, if you've ever gone to spring training, and that environment of fun at spring training is like an Aces game. That's every day. So that's why
most of the players are on the field. Most of the Aces players would be on the field during spring training.
Yeah,
they're out there on the major league field.
It's so fun and just enjoyable. And like I said, you got to have a beer when you're out there enjoying this.
So Nasser, are you at the brewery right now? I know you have that. I think that's a picture in the background. If you're
that's just my backdrop right now. I'm actually sitting in the middle of Reno at New West Distributing in their conference room.
Oh, you're in Reno right now.
I am in Reno right now. I'm physically here. I like to come up here. It's one of my favorite towns to come visit. I'm up here about every 3 weeks. But like I said, I have some amazing partners with New West Distributing up here. I mean, these guys, they're the best partners in the world, along with the Aces. And so that's what we were kind of hanging out with the past couple of days.
The reason I asked where you were is I wanted to know where you can get Aceball Ale. Like, if you're at the brewery, get it at the brewery, or can you just get it in Northern Nevada?
You can only get it in Northern Nevada. So the really cool thing is, this is something, as the Aces are Reno, Aceball Ale is only for Northern Nevada. We don't take it anywhere else. It is your property. It is your product. It is your hometown pride. It's something you can get behind. We donate some money back to the Aces to help with a lot of their programming.
Appreciate that.
With charity groups. And, we want to be good partners with everybody. We're here to be part of the community. Yeah, we're based out of Oregon. And there's amazing breweries here in Reno, but we're lucky enough to be able to partner with the Aces and really be a part of this town. And, it's kind of funny. I drive a little Hop Valley wagon. And it's funny. I was just at a store in Raley's where every Raley's has the Aceball Ale, just so you know where to get it right now. But somebody's sitting there taking a picture of the van. They're like, "Oh, that's one of my favorite beers." And I said, "Hey, I threw my hat and just really enjoy this. And thank you so much for everything, the support of the community." I mean, this is yours. This is Reno.
You might be my guy. I was just going to ask you who I have to grease to get it into Northern California, but I feel like you might be my guy. Like, you're the regional sales manager for the territory. So let's
anything you need is pretty easy. I'm smack dab in the middle of Napa. Come on up anytime. Like I said, we take care of our partners. We want to be part of the community. It's some crazy stories about just baseball. I got a lot of weird ties into baseball and into work in this industry. Like I said, I met my wife. A lady I used to work with when I was a kid. When I was 18 years old at this construction company, she was our office manager. Her son is Matt Chapman from the A's. So it's always like,
oh, really? I know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So there's just a lot of weird little baseball communities. My old boss used to pitch for the Angels. One of our other guys used to. It's been fun. It's just like baseball. I sucked at baseball as a kid. I loved watching it. I was horrible at it. It wasn't my sport. Just don't have that skill set. Body's not built for baseball, more for like football. But I love baseball, and like I said, it's been a fun time to be a part of this project with everybody.
Do you think this is going to lead to more teams, especially in the minor leagues, maybe partnering with some of the microbreweries that are, not just in our region, but around the country? I mean, this is a pretty cool idea where you have a beer that is, and there aren't many elements that are specifically designed for minor league teams. I mean, most of the marketing is geared toward major league teams, but when you have a prominent minor league team in the region like the Aces, I mean, this is a home run when you can get a microbrewery to partner with a baseball team. You think that this is going to be kind of in vogue?
I hope so. I think for us, what it really draws down to is being part of the community. And some of these minor league teams that are around here are really community oriented. So I hope that some people are taking examples of what we're doing and able to run with it. I hope one day we're able to expand our program with some of the other minor leagues around the country and our territory that we distribute. But the one thing that I know for a fact after working with you guys and Emily is the team needs support. It needs support in all facets, from financial to marketing to community support. And if you're a craft brewer, try to be supportful. The Aces have given us so much stuff and so much leeway and flexibility and friendship that it's like you want to make sure you do everything right for them and you don't disrespect the name in any shape or form. I can't talk highly enough about how fun it's been. I mean, the first time I ever met the Aces, we won a raffle for a free ice cream bar for a luxury box, to get a luxury box and win an ice cream bar. And I'm like, oh my God, I get an ice cream bar. Like, it's so exciting. It's just been that kind of fun atmosphere. And, one of the worst days I've had this year was the day they told me to cancel the season because I was so bummed about not being able to come here and really just enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to 2021, fingers, toes, everything's crossed, because I want to sit in that ballpark and just hang out and have fun.
Well, I know you don't know much about me, but this is going to be my first year broadcasting for the Aces. So, I mean, I was ready to have, after 14 years in Stockton, I was kind of ready for this new adventure, and to have it come to an end prematurely the way it did was a real bummer. I feel you. Totally.
It's just like the wind is out of the sails. I mean, I was all ready to sneak out there as a bat boy or something, just hang out and just watch what's going on down there. And, but there's always next year, and, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be a part of this for a long time. And, the only thing we can do is keep creating a better package and keep building our friendship and our relationship with you guys.
Well, hey, Nasser, you talk about doing right by the brand for the Aces. Look, dude, I'll tell you this much. Like, if anybody is wondering what the Aces brand is all about and as far as the quality of what it represents, you grab a can of Aceball Ale and you'll know immediately. I mean, you guys did so well by the brand, and we can't thank you guys enough for everything.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys. I mean, like I've said, everybody in this town has been so amazing and responsive to it. We made sure we put one of our best beers we could possibly make into this can. And so there's a lot of heart and soul from a lot of hardworking people up at Hot Valley. The Aces were awesome. They sent up some hats for all of our brewers. So while everybody was brewing the beer, they're all wearing Aces hats as the cans are coming down the line. Emily has some pictures that, that maybe you can grab from her, where our brewers are actually packaging the beer, all wearing Aces gear.
Sweet.
They're all about it up there in Oregon, so I want to shout out to all the guys, the whole company up in Eugene. They're going to watch us and be proud of what they're being a part of.
Totally. One more quick shout out. You mentioned McKenna at New West. She's a former Aces graphic manager. Vince Ruffino telling us that she's a former Aces graphic manager. So
I did not. Did you know that? Oh, Kelly's over here nodding yes. So
I wanted to make sure I got Vince's thing in there and connect the dots. So that's awesome. And before I let you
Kelly
go,
used to work at the Aces too, I guess.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did corporate sponsorships for the first year.
Kelly, I'm sorry I missed you. I mean, I missed you by like a decade, but I'm still sorry I missed you.
That's okay.
Real quick, Nasser, before we let you go again, can you just touch on where fans can pick this up? I got it at Rayleigh's, I believe.
It's at Rayleigh's, Total Wine right now. Lee's Liquor has it. There's a couple independent stores around town, but those are the big ones that you're definitely going to find it right now.
So for sure in Reno, does it get as far as Tahoe?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so. It's at the Rayleigh's up there in Tahoe too as well. It's all Northern Nevada. I've got the best distributor network up here, so they made sure it's everywhere for us.
Well, hey, thank you guys so much for this.
Absolutely, Zach and Vince.
I'm thanking you on a personal note because I love it. So forget anybody else. Like, I'm thanking you personally.
I'll make sure to bring some down to you down there in Lodi, and we'll drop you off a care package next time I am that way.
Please.
We got you. And Vince, we're going to bring you some presents over there at the stadium. But hey, guys, thank you so much for letting us be part of this. And I look forward to 2021. I look forward to really just having some fun with you guys. You know, I'm going to try to weasel my way into throwing out a first pitch against somebody in some shape or form. I'm a sneaky little guy, so I might be umpiring a game. You never know.
I'll tell you this: you don't have to wamboozle anybody into a first pitch. I'm sure we'll give you one, and then I'll give you a half inning to come up on the radio, and we can jam and have an Aces ale together. All right?
I'm gonna hold you to that, Zach. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Cheers, Nasser.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Nasser Alimusa, Regional Sales Manager for Northern California and Northern Nevada for Hop Valley Brewing Company, the proud makers of a Hop Valley Aceball Blonde Ale. Pick some up at your local store in Reno, Tahoe, and we'll come back to wrap up the Aces Loaded podcast after this.
Let's go. Right, good.
Back to close out the Aces Loaded podcast. Thanks so much for being with us today. Thanks to Emily Jaenson, Aces GM, and also to Nasser Alimusa from Hop Valley Brewing Company for giving us some insight into Aceball Ale and how it came to be and really hitting on some of the notes, both visually and flavor-wise of the beer. I really encourage you to go out and find this beer if you're in Northern Nevada. Outside of supporting the Aces, you're not going to regret it because it's a delicious, refreshing, not only summer beer, but I think a beer that translates well into the fall too. Aceball Ale from Hop Valley Brewing Company in Eugene, Oregon. Phenomenal. And if you're in Northern Nevada, go out and get some ASAP. Would also like to give a shout out to Reno 1868 FC. For those that don't know, I've actually been doing those games on radio on ESPN 94.5 FM in Reno and also on Sirius XM. But they're having an historic season, 1868. Right now, they are in a virtual tie for first place atop the Group A standings with Sac Republic FC. But because of the tiebreaker going to goal differential, Reno technically is in first place. Reno owns the tiebreaker. So shout out to 1868. Ian Russell and his guys have been really fun to watch. You can catch the video streams on ESPN Plus, Nevada Sportsnet in Northern Nevada, and also, as I mentioned, on the radio. And I'll be with you on the radio side as 1868 FC looks to continue a fantastic season. Thanks to Vince Ruffino, who produced our broadcast today. As always, again, for Emily and Nasser and everybody with the Reno Aces and Reno 1868, Zack Bayruti saying so long, and we'll see you next time back on the Aces Loaded podcast.